All right, Ohio State will face Notre Dame tomorrow night for the national championship. Not that I'm pulling for Notre Dame or anything, with my blue, gold, and green. But anyway, they're doomed. It's the second year in a row that an SEC team will not play in the title game. The SEC used to be a lock to get a team into the old BCS system. They had that reputation. So when in doubt, the SEC got a team in, and one year they got two teams in, when Alabama and LSU got the rematch. Now they chase the playoff dollars. Sankey was big on this. Let's do it. Now you're not as dominant as you were. Did the playoff cash cost them dominance?
Interesting.
I don't think so. I think it's NIL dollars, just larger donor bases in the Big Ten schools. They're spending more money on NIL. They also don't care if baseball and softball and women's basketball and those sports are good. And you know what I mean? They don't care. Football, maybe basketball, maybe. And I think that's where they're allocating their money, is they're putting so much more money into NIL for football that it's just kind of leveled the playing field, where in the SEC, we're better at the bagman life. They're better at the what they call it, clean money, where you have big time boosters who would never give you bagman money in the Big Ten, who will now give money to the NIL
collective. But the
collective.
bagman money, you were talking at Tennessee, $60,000. We're so off the charts with that. And I'm tired of. I've heard Ohio State fans all week talk about, you can't pay anymore. And I'm like, really? Ohio State going to lecture people on cheating? Sign me up for a course in Tattoo-Gate. Bring in Tressel and Maurice Claret to tell us all how to cheat. Plenty of people cheated. I just think it's a different. To me, it's a simple question. Yes, I think you have lost your dominance because of the playoff, because you went from being one team in a two-team playoff in the BCS to 1 out of 12 or 3 out of 12. It's harder to win the thing now.
And neither one of these two teams would have been in with the old BCS
system.
Yeah, they would not have.
Yes, so that's what but is Ohio State going to spend this $20 million every year? And with this money coming in, I think you had the top part of the SEC this year just happened to be down. The top part of the Big Ten just happened to be up. This was their year to me.
Okay, I'm not saying they'll never win again.
Right.
I'm saying
No,
the day of
right
the
now.
SEC always being at the top, I don't see that coming. You may.
I think it's NIL and transfer portal. I think the NIL robbed Georgia of depth because they lost a lot of players. The coaching change at Alabama robbed them of depth, leading to the transfer portal. I think that was a bigger factor. Those two.
I'm going to agree with a little bit of all of it, but in the end, I think Chuck made the best point.
Thank you.
In the old days, these two teams playing for the national championship wouldn't be there.
You'd have an SEC team already
Exactly.
against
You'd
the
have
Big
an
Ten team.
SEC team already in. So,
It'd be
yes,
Georgia
Will not
that's,
play.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah. So I think the going to the playoffs probably did hurt you, but I also think NIL, all of this
They
stuff
all
is
play
playing a
wrong.
role.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't think there's any way around that. You went from having an automatic bid into a two-team race every year into now you're having to fight
Well,
through a
this
12-team
year
playoff.
it would have been Georgia,
Oregon.
Oregon.
Who's
That-
who
that-
it would have
there
been.
you go. Maybe
Yeah.
you don't win, but that's who you're going to have.
And even if you'd had a 4-team playoff, it would have been Georgia, Texas, Oregon, Penn State. You'd had two of the four.
Right. And one last thing, with Notre Dame, well, you look at a game story when they win a playoff game, every guy's a transfer. Every guy that contributed to that victory is a transfer they picked up in the portal.
Who are we talking about?
Notre Dame.
Oh, okay.
And that
Yeah.
put them over the edge, too. Instead of losing a lot of these close games, they're now winning.
They did a great job in the portal, there's no question. But you look at they averaged a top 10 class over the last 5 years, I think. It's better than what we showed it on the show
Right.
a few weeks ago. You've still got to recruit, but they did a great job in picking those
guys.
5 or 6 that will
Exactly.
keep
There you go.
contributors. Yep. All right, when we come back, I don't know if you watched that Lions game last night, but when Jared Goff had to leave the game, they went to their backup quarterback, the guy they signed who was coaching high school football a couple weeks ago. Where was Hendon Hooker? What does that mean for Tennessee? Come on back.